This is NicoB, and I'm here to tell you a bit about my experience with some other Capcom games, including Onimusha, The Way of the Sword, and the recently announced Resident Evil Requiem, i.e. Resident Evil 9. So for both of these titles, we were given an in-depth gameplay demonstration at SGF showcasing some of its gameplay. And I will say, I was really hoping I was going to be able to play at least one of these two games here at the show, but not yet. But what I did see has me very, very, very excited. So let me start off first with Onimusha Way of the Sword. So I'll say right off the bat, compared to some of the other Onimusha games, this game is definitely much darker and much grittier. It seems to take its story and its characters very seriously. There's one part where you essentially use your mind's eye to see a bunch of spirits from the past, and you see his father literally dump his child while they're still alive off a bridge, while they're crying for him to stop, sacrificing him to the Genma. And it's like, holy shit, it's fucked up. Musashi tries to run over and save him. We also see a moment where he runs into the guy that we see in the trailer, which is like Musashi's rival, who also has himself in Onimusha Gauntlet, and they proceed to have a cool duel. It's funny, one of the guy that was controlling the game was one of the lead designers too, and he did such a great job of showing how cool your character is. But the gameplay stuff is where this game really was like, holy shit. So first off, the parries in this game are unfucking believable. They're just unbelievably cool. And the reason why they're cool is that they went out of their way to literally make a parry for every different type of attack, like a different animation, where essentially he takes the blade and draws it along the enemy's weapon, tracing it and creating these sparks that is just so oh my God, so satisfying. It isn't just a simple cling of the weapon and they bounce off. No, it's every single attack had a different animation. And sometimes it even depended on what direction you were facing. And in fact, it actually doesn't even matter in this game what direction Musashi is facing. He can block from anywhere. And even then, he actually will sometimes take his sword and block someone behind him. He'll put his sword behind his back and block it that way. It's so cool. You can deflect arrows back at enemies, but even better, you can actually deflect arrows also to other enemies. So in the demonstration, there was an enemy coming up behind him and an enemy shooting arrows in front of him. He deflects the arrow to the enemy right behind him and fucking kills him. And then he deflects another arrow back at the guy that shot it. I'm just like, holy shit, this is fucking what the hell? And the animations, I can't get over how good it looks. It really went from being just oh, this is a cool game and me doing cool moments to oh no, this character looks like something out of a movie where it actually holy, I actually see him doing this thing in a realistic fashion. The cool thing too is once you've actually parried enough times, your sword actually lights on fire and gets a buff. It makes your attacks even stronger. It's like this blue fire that glows on your sword, and it's fucking super fucking sick. And we also see the return of the Ishin, i.e. the critical strikes, but they're made even better in this one in that you can actually chain them back to back to back to back. And I don't mean you have to time the button presses. Seemingly if you get one, you can then sort of do what I don't know if you guys remember that thing that you could do in Red Dead, or I think it was in one of the Splinter Cells games where you set up your icon to hit multiple enemies and then you just unleash it and you just go bam, 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 bam. So this one's sort of like that, where you follow up, you select another enemy and then go zip to him and he dies. And then you take a person and pick another one, he dies. And it's it's so cool. You just wipe out a whole wave of dudes with it. It's interesting though, because the game actually does have a bit of a Sekiro system as well, where bosses have a stamina gauge that if you deplete it, the boss will be staggered, and you can actually then choose a body part in which to inflict a critical strike. And I think they actually do it based on multiple colors. So one color will essentially just inflict massive damage, and another one will inflict less damage, but will force him to drop a bunch of health orbs or magic orbs, which is really cool. But the segment they showed basically ends with the fight against his rival, who is clearly just gonna be harassing us throughout the whole game. And it was really impressive. I just wish I could have played it. I hope it feels as good as it looks, because it looks really freaking cool, man. They make you feel like a fucking badass in this game. So I think at this point, I feel like I'm just kind of ready to have it in my hands. I think this was actually finally getting a gameplay demonstration and seeing how it plays. It's just got me like, all right, I need it. I need it now. Put the controller in my hands and please let me play it, please. I'll be curious what kind of weapons potentially you get in this game, if you do, or if it's just gonna be the sword for the main game. I have a feeling you probably will get other weapons. I think I actually remember even in the trailer there being a moment where you take like little daggers or something and you like slice like this, like an area in front of the enemies and cause an explosion. So I'm pretty sure there are. But I will say, for a game that was coming out in 2026, we're seeing a lot more of this game than I thought we would. I really didn't think we'd be like seeing like much of any of this game this year. Because usually like when games get revealed that early, it's like you only start seeing it maybe 6 months out. And I don't think we even know when in 2026 this game's gonna release. So I'm honestly pretty happy and impressed to see that there is some stuff they have to show even this early on. And that it looks so good. It also ran insanely well. While Pragmata had some definite like frame rate issues, this game was running just buttery smooth. But now hopping over to Resident Evil Requiem. So immediately after the Onimusha gameplay bit, we got shown the first ever gameplay from Resident Evil Requiem. And unfortunately, I don't have any actual footage from that, just as I don't have any actual footage from the Onimusha stuff. So all the stuff you're seeing is basically from the trailers, but I can tell you at least what it was about. So the game is definitely much more akin to Resident Evil 7 than it is necessarily Resident Evil 8 or RE4, meaning that it's very strongly focused on horror. We saw in the trailer the character Grace waking up upside down, and the demo starts essentially with her in that same scenario, breaking out of her restraints and then making her way around the area. So first off, you actually get the choice in this game of whether you're gonna play in first person or third person. You can choose. Though apparently the game does recommend that you play in first person for the horror aspect. Interesting. Makes me think that maybe there are other aspects of the game that be better in third person, mayhaps. But we don't really know because we don't actually see that. But you make your way pretty much in like the pitch dark around this area, doing what you do in a Resident Evil game, which is finding keys, opening doors, finding fuses, you know, things like that, to a very, very spooky atmo. You hear Grace's constant breathing as she makes her way through, and her little footsteps just kind of tapping on the ground. It's like the only sound you hear, and it's so unnerving. But obviously, you can't just have everything go swimmingly, right? No, at some point you do get attacked by a creature, and this creature is, I don't even know how to describe it. It's massive, like absolutely huge. And I believe female in nature. To be honest, I can't, not even sure if I could like remember exactly what it looks like. It was so weird. Like some kind of a bird maybe? I don't know. It was something very, very unnerving though, as it basically just towers above you, but it's still somehow able to like crawl into the holes in ceilings. It has massive, huge hands and arms that can essentially just pick you up and lift you up to its mouth. And if it catches you, it takes a huge fucking chunk out of your like shoulder. Also, if she kills you, she basically bites your whole head off and then she takes your body and starts playing it with it like a doll. It's fucked up, dude. But she begins hunting you, and this is actually like a real like hunt. This is not like in Resident Evil 8 when you get to that moment with the doll where it's mostly kind of on wheels, pretty linear. No, we're actually going back to characters hunting you down, like a Mr. X situation or the Baker family to some extent, which I think is important because I think as cool as the scary moments can be in some of these Resident Evil games, a lot of times they are kind of just like a first time playthrough is scary, and then every moment afterwards it's just kind of like whatever, because you sort of realize what you have to do and what you can do to get around it. But Mr. X, that enemy, that type of enemy, he's unnerving mostly every time because he's so unpredictable. I mean, he'll have moments where he will usually show up, right? But otherwise, sometimes he'll just like break a pattern and show up in some random place you weren't expecting. That's why the baby section of RE8 is only really good the first time, because after that you just kind of know what to do and expect. But no, this thing basically can chase you all around this area, crawling into holes and bashing through doors. And it's amazing because you can run into different rooms during this, and the lights will like randomly cut off, like the electricity goes out. You get access to a lighter, which you can then use to light the area around you to see where to go. but it's like pitch fucking black. So you like can't see this thing until it's like right on top of you. It's super fucking scary. Now, unfortunately, we don't actually see every bit that happens in this area. There are like moments in the gameplay where things get cut, probably not to spoil too much about how to get like items and what parts to unlock and where to go. So we never actually see the true end. It just ends honestly with this giant creature lifting you up, getting ready to consume you. But yeah, this is definitely a spot in the game where you're not really meant to fight. There's not really much you can do. I think you can get things like bottles and stuff to help distract the enemy, but you're not killing this thing, at least not right now. Now, like I said, I don't know if the whole game is gonna be like that. I have a feeling it probably won't be. But I also just have this feeling that this is probably not just gonna be a game about Grace either. I feel like there's going to likely be other characters that you control that maybe adjust the gameplay. Like this could be essentially a coming together of multiple genres in one RE game. Where like one character plays one way, another plays a different way. Because Capcom has been saying that this is a very ambitious game for the series. They're trying to do something really different. And while you could sort of argue that that was done a bit in RE8, right? Like there was like basically that one like chapter that was really creepy, and then everything else was mostly action oriented. But if it's truly like we actually really divvied up the gameplay in such a way that it was like evenly distributed as like, this is scary, this is action, this is puzzle maybe, I don't know. But to where every like character's like perspective felt unique, you know? It might not be something maybe akin to RE6, though I haven't actually played it yet myself. But I hear in that game that you essentially get multiple perspectives among a number of characters that I don't know if it is necessarily different gameplay, but does lead to different story bits. So they might be trying to do something here, but maybe even going so far as to split what kind of gameplay you get among them. And hopefully is maybe executed a bit better than what I've heard about RE6. It's very cool, and it is very creepy. I do personally hope that there is more to the game, right? I think that's also part of it, is that as much as I love the scary bits, right? And having a character that can hunt you down, right? That definitely adds to the tension. But I also feel that if it's done for like too long, like if you have like a whole game and it's nothing but that, I think it starts to wear a bit. Because it's just hard to continuously freak out and scare somebody and not have it sort of start to wear thin or just be like, all right, I feel like I've been there already, right? Not to mention, RE, I feel like is about more than just the creepiness. They're also just about having really solid gameplay. And Atmo, you know, unlocking with keys and fuses is great fun and all, but dude, I want to be able to blast a motherfucker if I can. And also get the satisfying joy of, you know, finding and uncovering upgrades and items and weapons and things like that. So yeah, that's generally what I kind of saw from RE9. It wasn't a ton. That whole section probably lasted maybe 10 to 15 minutes. We do know that this game is coming out in February 2026. So I imagine it won't be too long before we will get some more chances to check out more gameplay. But I do feel that even from just this bit, like this feels very teasery. Like I feel like we're getting teased a lot. There's still a lot about this game that we don't really know about. Not to mention the fact that this character is apparently like the daughter of a character from the Outbreak game, which leads me to think that there's just no way, right? There's just no way they're gonna have a character from the Outbreak series and not have some crazy multiplayer game that is essentially maybe the actual second coming of Outbreak, which according to what I've heard is like one of the best multiplayer experiences Capcom has ever made, at least for the RE series. Like it apparently was really good. It was like, it's what everybody has wanted Capcom to go back to and revisit in these multiplayer ventures of theirs, but they haven't really. Yeah, the stuff that sort of has come out has been a bit hit or miss for them. I personally don't really know much about what those games entail, though I've had Tiff actually bring up potentially playing that together, maybe streaming it together, the old original Outbreak. So maybe I'll find out what that was that made that mode so captivating to people. But shit, man, if they do that, God, could you imagine Capcom makes it not just a great, wonderful single player experience, but has a multiplayer experience that just keeps people coming back? Oh, bitch, and that's when you know we've got ourselves another truly goated Resident Evil. But yeah, I think that's about covers my visits with Capcom. Capcom's games were really interesting. I think they were easily the star of this SGF. So I felt like it was important that I sort of cover these ones in their own separate videos because they're the ones that have me the most excited. Capcom really isn't just like their next golden age here. They've really just been killing it, and seeing these games and just how much like fidelity and interesting gameplay and or cool spooks in RE9 has been really excited for the future of Capcom. Like, man, are we gonna start seeing Mega Man come back? We're gonna see Ace Attorney come back? Are they gonna be like fucking crazy looking? And we're gonna like some super hyper realistic Ace Attorney? That'd be funny. Probably not. But even then, I would love to see what like an updated art style in the RE engine or maybe even the Rex engine, their new one, like what that could even look like. I do still some other things I want to cover from my trip to SGF, but I think I'm going to cover the remaining stuff all in just one video on its own. There were still quite a number of games I played and enjoyed, so you guys can look forward to that in one last preview video. But anyway, guys, hope you all enjoy this little preview of the exciting stuff coming out of Capcom. I'm definitely very thankful to them for this opportunity and for getting a chance to even meet the Onimusha devs who are actually a bunch of young guys on the team who, damn dude, they've got a good head on their shoulders, all right? I really like the direction they're going. And I'm really just curious to see where RE9 goes from here, because I think there's just so much they are still not showing us. But anyway, guys, hope you all enjoyed this preview. I'll see you all for one last SGF coverage video. And as always, Peaky Penguins, till next time, guys, stay classy.